Lesson 5-1, Area and Perimeter. Okay, let's imagine that at home you have a rug on your floor, a rectangular rug, that measures 8 feet by 4 feet. And I want you to tell me the area of this rug. Okay, so basically when I'm asking you for the area of the rug on your floor, I'm asking you how much space this rug takes up on your floor. And basically when you're figuring out the area of any two-dimensional or any flat shape, that's really all you're doing. You're figuring out how much space it takes up on a two-dimensional surface. And in this case, the two-dimensional flat surface would be your floor that the rug is resting on. Okay, so what would the area of this rug be? Well, the very simple formula that we can apply to any rectangle is area equals its length times its width. Okay, so in this case, the area of this rectangle would be its length is 8 and its width is 4. And please know that we usually refer to the length as the longer side and the width as the shorter side. But because we're multiplying these two numbers, it really doesn't matter which one you call the length and which one you call the width. Okay, so actually let me put the units in there. Sorry. Area equals 8 feet times 4 feet. Okay, 8 times 4 is 32. And when we multiply feet times feet, we get feet squared. So the area of this rectangle would be 32 feet squared, or 32 square feet. Okay, feet squared and square feet mean the exact same thing. So what exactly is a square foot? Okay, why do we have to put that after our number? Okay, well, if I were to break this rectangle down into smaller squares, just give me a minute here. Okay, we are going to pretend that all of these squares are of equal size. Let's just double check, make sure we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 squares, 8 feet along the length, and 1, 2, 3, 4 feet along the width. Okay, so what is a square foot? A square foot is simply a square that measures 1 foot by 1 foot. So this square that I'm shading in would be considered 1 square foot, right? Because its length is 1 foot, and its width is also 1 foot. So when you're figuring out the area of a shape, that's basically what you're doing. You're figuring out how many square units there are inside the shape. Well, how many square feet do we have in this rectangle? Well, in this row we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 little squares, or 8 square feet, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 of those rows, right? So 8 little squares per row times 4 rows gives us 32 little squares, or 32 square feet. Okay, let's try a couple more examples for area. Let's say I have a rectangle that measures 4 centimeters by, 12 centimeters. Okay, applying our formula, area equals length times width. In this case, our length is 12 centimeters. And our width is 4 centimeters. 12 centimeters times 4 centimeters gives us 48 centimeters squared. Well, before I forget, the other thing I wanted to bring to your attention was in some textbooks or on some reference sheets, you might see the formula for area written like this. Area equals base times height. Alright, I just want you to know that it's basically, it's exactly the same thing as the formula I gave you earlier. Okay, these are two different ways of expressing the same formula. Right, so in the formula on top, your b or your base would correspond to your length, and your height would correspond to your width. They mean the exact same thing, just using different letters. Just didn't want you to get confused. Okay, what if we had a square? What if we had a square that measured 9 meters times 9 meters? Would we be able to apply our formula for area for a square? And the answer is yes, because remember, a square is a special type of rectangle. It's a rectangle that has 4 equal sides. So in this case, the area of this square would be 9. Its length is 9, times its width is also 9. So 9 meters times 9 meters gives us 81 meters squared. Alright, so that's really all there is to figuring out the area of any rectangle. It's pretty simple. Alright. What if I were to ask you to figure out the perimeter of a rectangle? So let's imagine that outside in your garden, in your yard rather, you have a garden that measures 5 feet by 12 feet. And around this garden, you want to put fencing. You want to surround the entire garden with fencing. How much of this fencing will you need, or how many feet of this fencing will you need? Well, basically, that's the same thing as asking what is the perimeter of this garden, or what is the distance around this garden, okay? Well, one very simple way of figuring out the perimeter or the distance around a shape is to simply add up the lengths of all the sides, right? So you have 5 feet in this direction along that side, and you have 12 feet along this side. Of course, you have another 5 feet along this side, and then along this side you also have 12 feet. Oops. Right, so the perimeter would simply be 5 plus 5 plus 12 plus 12. And this can be simplified or rewritten as 5 times 2, right, because we're adding 5 twice, plus 12 times 2. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 12 times 2 is 24. 10 plus 24 equals 34 feet. Right? When we were figuring out area, we were talking about square feet, but with perimeter, we're just talking about feet. Okay? And the basic formula for figuring out the perimeter of any rectangle is perimeter equals 2 times our width plus 2 times our length. Okay, another formula that's pretty simple to apply. Alright, let's try one more example for perimeter, maybe a couple more. Alright, what would the perimeter of this rectangle be? It measures 8 centimeters by 11 centimeters. Okay, I'll write our formula again. Perimeter equals 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Okay, so in this rectangle our length is 11 and our width is 8. 2 times 11 is 22, plus 2 times 8 is 16. 22 plus 16 is 38 centimeters. So the perimeter or distance around this rectangle is 38 centimeters. Alright, let's try one more. Okay, this rectangle measures 9 inches by 12 inches. Okay, for this example, I want you to figure out the area and the perimeter of this rectangle. Okay, so the two formulas that we're going to use are area equals length times width, and perimeter equals 2L plus 2W. Alright, let's figure out the area first. Okay, so the area of this rectangle is going to be its length 12 times its width 9. 12 times 9 gives us 108 inches squared, or 108 square inches. The perimeter of this rectangle would be 2 times its length, or 2 times 12, plus 2 times its width, which is 2 times 9. 2 times 12 is 24. Oops. 2 times 12 is 24, plus 2 times 9 is 18. 24 plus 18 equals 42 inches. Okay, that's it. Please watch part 2 of this lesson to learn how to find the area and perimeter of triangles.